little bit about my background. I started out working for the finance industry for 2 years until I don't like it anymore. Every day working, it's just a pain for me. So I was trying to find something different for my career, and I applied for an elective course in Python, and I never looked back ever since. So that's about me. As a student, I got a chance to work with Oxford's Property, which is a subsidiary of OMERS. When I was a student, they got me when I was a co-ops, and ever since I've been working with them as a developer, also data analytics, projects management, so on and so forth. So I got the opportunity to work in various stage of projects management or any specific company focused projects. So last year I got promoted to enterprise architect, and the nature of the job is to take care of the series of application networking, ensure that they are on OMERS standards, and is the portal for people to present their projects and got the approval by the board of architecture of OMERS. So that's it about me.
Awesome, thank you, Anne. And I got to know that you used to work for Oxford Properties as a developer as well, and you have a very amazing career path. And I think for a lot of folks on the call, they would be interested if you are not in IT career field and you're wondering how that looks like. We have Anne here to share with you, and she's as much as I have an IT background. When I explain to people how career looks like, if you in school and you take the 7-layer OSI module, I'm happy I have the 4-layer here with me today as a panelist. Thank you, Anne. She's laughing because she understands. Ayush, just a little bit about Ayush. He's my mentor. And he has helped me grow as a career in IT, and he's very experienced and very helpful and friendly. That's my first impression with Ayush.
Thank you so much, Flora. Is everyone able to hear me fine? Yeah, awesome, perfect. Okay, when Flora first told me about this event, I was really excited. It's such a great work that Flora, you're doing, and the team here, all the facilitators. And I really appreciate the invite to come here and talk to the youth and the people who are trying to make it good in the IT industry. So thank you first of all for the invite. A little bit of background about myself. I won't get right into my career path. I'll talk a little bit about my journey towards my education as well. That helped me kind of grow into the IT industry and made me who I am today. So came in to Canada in 2008 as an international student, and started off at York University, Seneca College campus for my diploma in the computer science, computer networking and technical support. I've always interested in and wanting to work in the networking industry, Cisco networking, not the other networking. And that was initially my beginning kickstart, and that kind of helped me in starting to get initial roles, which were like help desk, technical support, very beginner level, and trying to get my foot in the door kind of roles. What really helped me in my career from day one of the time I got in was co-op programs, which helped me kind of get some exposure while I was studying, get my hands dirty in the industry. And the rest is history. To be honest, it's been almost 12 years in the industry, and every opportunity that I've got, I felt like, good or bad, I've tried to take it as a good opportunity to learn, grow, and be like the bee, where you just go and take the honey and move on to the next, right? So take the honey for wherever you are in your career path, take the positives and move on. So worked at the automobile industry in the beginning, moving on to provincial government and then municipal government, and now I'm working for the Hudson's Bay as a senior manager of platform infrastructure, overseeing the cloud operations as well as the NOC, the integrated contact center for the Bay. So yeah, happy to have the chat here, and welcome everybody as well. Nice meeting everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayush. I don't know how much honey I got throughout my 10 years career in IT, but I think I got the bitter melon more than the honey.
That's good too. That tells you what not to do. Right? That's an important part.
Yeah, we always chat about it, but as you say very clearly that whether any opportunity that presented to you, either good or bad, it depends on how we looked at it. And we always looked at it as the positive changes. And the positive changes that we are seeing, I think it's going to bring a positive outcomes, and that's the message I always want to give all the young folks on the call as well. Thank you, and welcome as well. Linji, how about you? Hi and welcome.
Hi, Flora, and hi everyone. Nice to see everyone today. So my name is Linh Chi Nguyen, and I currently work at Royal Bank of Canada for data analytics team. So for my career part, it's starting with a finance background. So I did have my bachelor degree in finance, and I right after graduate, I jumped into a bank. At the time, I think like most of Asian students is very interested in either financing or banking or marketing. So that is the part that I chose at the time. And I worked for a bank for about 8 months, and I don't really like it. I work in a credit risk portfolio management, and I don't like the finance work. I don't know why, but looking at people other money, I don't think it makes sense to me. So then I decide, yeah, I like working with numbers, and I like something logical, but I don't think finance is a right career for me. So I decided to take on further education, and at this time I changed to economics and statistics. So after I graduate my postgraduate degree, I decided to go into data analytics, because during my postgraduate education, I really interested in working with numbers and working with data in specific. So after that, I started my career as a data analytics analyst at Loblaw company in Canada. And I'm moving around in Loblaw from 3 different departments. I work with supply chain, I work with finance, I work with merchandising, and each of the department that I work with, I learn something new. And that's something that I love about the job, is I have a chance to work with a different business and stakeholders, and I work with different kind of information, and I'm learning from them as well. And then last year, I just take a leave. I changed to a bank again. Why I going back to a bank, even though I said I don't like it, but working back in the bank, but with a different perspective. I'm working specifically in data, and I love it so far. And I think doing a career is not always that you choose one thing and you have to go with it for the rest of your life. This is always you find out what changed in you, and then whatever you do, as long as it makes you happy, then just go for it. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. This is the first time I actually have a formal introduction and get to know you, Linji, because I knew you for a while, and I always know that Linji works in data analyst, but I didn't realize that you came from a finance background. And when I listened to your story, and I was like, oh my God, yes, you came from a finance background, but then you take the leap and you bridge the gap between finance and IT in a different perspective. And I think I recently met a recent young grad as well, and she's on the same boat that you were. And I said, okay, let's talk to Linji, and maybe she'll give you a perspective of how your career looked like. And you have experience in banking. You can use IT to bridge that gap. And whether we like it or not, just like how we introduced the session for all of the young grad on the call, we said, whether you in healthcare, you in other field of industry, there's always a portion of technology that be involved in the company and the business process. So you always find the connection or be that connection to bridge the gap between that business and IT. And thank you for sharing. It's very, very, very inspiring, and I really like it. Thank you and welcome. And Liam, your turn.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, you hear me well, right? Just my check. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I go with the name Liam. So yeah, whatever you can just call me Liam, because my Vietnamese name is I find it's really hard for people to like pronounce Xuân Vũ. Okay, so whatever. I'm working as a cyber security engineer in SAP. And today is 24 April, right? So I came Canada in 28 April. So it's like most, yeah, it's coming to my third year in Canada, and for me it's like amazing year. Like I learn a lot. Learn a lot, and I have like new job and career change. A lot of things happen, but it's all good. So before this, I major in cyber security in Vietnam for my bachelor degree. I try many like position in IT field in Vietnam too. For malware researcher, full stack developer, and then being a cyber security engineer in Vietnam for like a bit long term. And then I moved to Canada for my second degree, graduate and jump into the industry with the position currently like a SAP. Thank you for having me today, and I hope I can bring something like some aspect in cybersecurity and whatever in IT in general for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liam. And don't forget the fact that he's only been in Canada for a year. And I want to stress that whatever on the course, if you're a new grad and you just came to Canada. When I first came to Canada a decade ago, my English wasn't good. I can't commute. And when I write, exactly how I speak. And I couldn't believe that 10 years later, I sit here and talk to you guys in a different language, in a different country and culture. And when I met Vu, my first impression is like, wow, you're amazing, and you have a lot of skill and technical, and your enthusiasm just drive me think that there's a lot of young grads out there that need this kind of support from the people who came before them. And I wish I have that support. Maybe it shortened my 10 years when I sit here, turn into maybe 2 or 3 years. But I'm happy that within a year, Vu had a full-time, he graduated. And I would encourage everyone that if you don't shy away from your ability, don't shy away from what you believe, what you can achieve. And just like Linchi shared with her career journey, she went through a different team, and that's how she learned, and that's how I learned. And I believe that's how everyone learns as well, by trying different things and find the right thing for us. And at the end, I always believe that hard work's always paid off. And thank you so much, Vu. You are very modest, and congratulations on your new job as well. And I think you just passed probation, so congratulations. Awesome. Whitney, do you have anything else to add after the introductions, and then we can start the question and Q&A?
Yeah, all good. We can start the Q&A with the panelists.
Okay. You want to take the first one first, and you can pick whoever you want to ask the questions.
Yes, for the first question, I'm going to ask on the panelists. We are curious to know, how did you find your current opportunity as an IT professional at your current employer? So just curious to know about your history a little bit in more details. So I will take Anlep first. Go to this round again.
Okay, so let me go first. So, oh, sorry guys, my cat want to join.
Oh, I want you.
You want to join the meeting too, always. My first job, co-op job ever in this industry, I got it from the co-op session at school. So I used to go to a Fanshawe College, and they have a co-op program where I guess after the third semester, we will have like a panel of employer seeking for co-op students. So they come there and they pick. But for me, I reach out more because most of them are from London. I want to potentially have the ability to move to Toronto. So I reach out myself using my co-op's term as an offer to them. The current job that I have right now is strictly due to networking. So that is something that is very important. I got it from asking around people that this person might know that person that knows someone that currently offer the opportunity. So it's always good that you know everyone at work around you. So that's how I got my current job right now.
So how about Ayush? How did you find your current opportunity from your career ladder?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so just wanted to say thank you to you. So have you finished or you want to tell us more?
Oh, I'm
Like,
done.
yeah, so basically, so you got a co-op opportunity and then you reach out to people, and then for your current job, basically is about how you grow your network and they help you find the opportunity, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anne. So I would like to move on to Ayush. So can you please share with us how did you find the current opportunity? How did you move up in your career ladder? Just want to understand a little bit more. Thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we've already touched on it a little bit. Networking is I think the most important thing. I feel like in any career, networking can combined with a slight hint of attitude to work towards things, right? I've always believed that if there's anything that you're trying to work towards, no matter what the problems are, you'll definitely be able to face it and get past it. So yeah, that in combination with the networking that I've had in the last 10 to 12 years and within the industry, knowing people, whether it was to be honest with you, whether it was from college, university, all the way till here, there has been a trail of how I got there, right? So it's just talking to people, talking to like-minded people, and attending sessions like these definitely helps, and increasing that network. So yeah, that's what I would like to say about that.
Add a little bit to what
you.
Ayush was saying. Ayush and I came from the same school and the same sort of program. And when we had an opportunity to work together, and I was like, oh, you have a similar education and career path like I did. Maybe we, can I pick your brain? And that's how I got myself a mentor. And I think a lot of young grad and a lot of international students, they are sometimes afraid of something that they keep them not reaching out. But by reaching out, you create yourself an opportunity to actually maybe bring you in a mentorship, and bring down somebody that can give you advice for your career, or bring you advice, or bring you connection to your next job, or given the opportunity for you to develop yourself in a way that you can also find the job for yourself. So don't be afraid to reach out, either say, hey, on LinkedIn or on Facebook, on somebody say, hey, I know you work here, X, Y, and Z. Can I pick your brain? Can I buy you a coffee? Can we have 5-minute chat? And I think that's how we also create networking, right? So it's just something that I think most of us have in common as well. And back to you, Whitney.
Thanks, Ayush and Flora. So moving on to Lindsay. So Lindsay, can you please share with us your stories, especially you move from another career. So how did you find IT field opportunity? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. So for me, I have to be honest, when I finished my postgraduate degree, and I have been struggle finding job because at the time I don't know about networking. I don't know about create a LinkedIn profile. I don't know about any of that, and it was a struggle for me for a couple of months to find a job. And then luckily, after hundreds and hundreds of application and interviews, finally I get a job, my first job at Loblaw. And since then, when I start working, and I learned that networking is so important. It's really important that if you build your network, it will help with it will help you to stand out compared with all the other candidates when applying for jobs. So I start slowly grow my networking within the company and also outside. And I think that is important, and it helps me a lot to grow and move up in my career path. And when I work with one department, but I have a chance to work with some other team on other projects. I have a chance to build connection with other people as well. And that's why it helped me to move around within a big corporation, and it helped me to move up in my career level. And that's also why I jump from department to department, because if you have extensive knowledge of business, then that will stand out like significantly, because I do know a little bit about supply chain. I do know about a little bit about finance, and sometimes like you need the knowledge of both. So that's why I think networking is really important. And then after 5 years at Law, I think it's time for me to change to some different industry, and that's why I choose to apply to so many banks. And I build connection with the people in the bank. I have some friends who work at the bank, so I connect with them, and then I add, hey, I'm trying to move. Do you know anything or any position or anyone that in looking for a position in data analytics that maybe you can show me and then connect me with? So the job that I have right now at Royal Bank is also through LinkedIn and networking. I have a coffee chat with a couple of senior leaders at some of the bank, and then the final destination they choose is Royal Bank. So for sure, networking is really important, and that is the thing that helped me to find job and then move around and then move up.
Thank you, Linji. So for Liam, so I know that you are a new graduate. Do you want to explain a little bit further to let us understand much better about your journey? Like, I feel like you got your first job very fast. So like anything behind that, like tell us your secret.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm so happy to share. And you know what, my secret? Yeah, my secret is I have a really like amazing mentor. So yeah, that's my secret. Yeah. Okay. I graduated from University Victoria, and yeah, at that time I remember that I took advantage. I took advantage of service from the university. We call it co-op and career service. Yeah, so when I tried to find a call position, I reached out to the office and I asked them for the top employer that's hire our program. So my program is from telecommunication and cybersecurity. So I asked them, that's the can you give me a list that the employer hire people in our program in like previous few 5 years? So they really have it. So from the list that I have like 20 company, 20 employer. So I search them in LinkedIn and find any like position for them on LinkedIn, apply for this. And then for help me a lot on preparing for my resume and for my interview. Yeah, and finally I end up with not having any call but a full-time position. That's
Oh, that's amazing.
I will add a little bit. It's not because he had an amazing mentor that he got his job. It's all Liam's doing. He's very self-efficient. He found the job himself. He went to multiple interviews. He prepared his resume really, really, really well and professional. And he's applied to many, many jobs. So I think as a part of the mentorship program, and I know Anne and Linji, she used to be mentor as well, as a part of our job is to provide you with our experience and what we have been through. And the last piece of the puzzle is you're the one who take action, you're the one who reach out, you're the one who apply, you're the one who go for interview. I didn't do all of those for you, but you did it yourself. So I think what we are doing today with the panelists and even myself and Whitney and the facilitator as well, that we've been there, done that, and we hope by giving back the experience, the opportunity, we will help young grads to grow and contribute to the workplace or the company or whoever or whatever the dream job that may be, they think maybe that's suitable for them, and choose the right career. Just like not when I started, I wanted to be what my parent wanted me to be, a lawyer or a doctor. I can't be lawyer or doctor. I tried accountant, just like how Lynchy's in finance, and I don't like numbers, and I said it doesn't work well with me. So I think we have a lot of misinterpretation, is that we go with somebody with career path that somebody tell us or somebody set for us, instead of say, hey, I'm good at this, maybe I'll try this first. If it doesn't work, I'll try the other one. If it doesn't work, I'll try the other one. It never stopped. We never stop finding for the one that suitable for us. So this is my take on my career journey, just like everyone else on the call. So I hope the participant, if you're a young grad, listen to us, find the right path for you. If you haven't found one yet, maybe it's not the right one yet. So don't give up. Back to you, Whitney.
Just to add to that, Flora, that was a perfect scenario that you described here, right? What I also find in my journey was that doing what I like helped me in excelling in what I'm doing, versus doing something that I don't like, whether it's for a financial obligation or anything else, right? Yeah, of course we all have to pay our bills, right? But if you focus on doing what you like, and the money will just follow, to be honest, right? That's what I've noticed.
Totally agree.
And then you give you 100% naturally, right?
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. So basically, your stories tell us that networking is so important, and Liam and Anli even use the co-op services at school as the start of your journey. Thank you so much. And Flora, do you want to ask the second question?
Sure, I will ask the next question. So my next questions to you guys is that we talked about the career path. We talked about how we get where we are today. So let's talk about the interview process, where you have to go through a certain process and you have to face the interview panel. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are interested in. My question would be, what is the most memorable questions that you encounter in your interview, and how did you answer that questions? And let's start with Liam. We go backward.
Oh, hi. Okay. My most memorable question. Yeah, it will be a question with BlackBerry, and it will be a technical question. So I will try my best to like explain you guys with like not about networking background about this. So it's a tricky question. They asked me about what port ping you. So ping is kind of a command in networking when you try to connect to any website to see it's alive or it already dead. You ping pong in Marine. Yeah, it is from the Marine. So they asked me what port does ping use. Yeah, the most why I remember it the most, because it's kind of tricky question. And it's like differentiate between the competent candidate and the great candidate. So the answer of this, I know that's because being ICMP and it's like layer 4 of OSI model, so they no bot you in ICMP, but they still add this. They require you to like pop it out. That the question have the problem. Yeah, so if you can point out the question have problem and explain why it is, it will be a great great answer. That's the most one I remember. It's just because of it's tricky. I don't really like think it's helpful in hiring people, but it's just funny and I just remember it the most. That is.
Yeah, so Liam, so by talking about most memorable question, we really curious to know about those tricky questions. I mean, let's say ridiculous questions or whatever you find is just weird, but you tackle those questions. So the targeted audiences of this session is for the new graduates and new students in the field. So just let's help them understand, like during the interviewing process, like just very weird, very tricky questions that you have to deal with. And we are curious to know how you deal with those questions. Like you got a question and you found that it's very tricky, and how you deal with it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like how do you use your technical knowledge and I mean problem solving skills to tackle the question? Yeah.
I see. Yeah. To be honest, I cannot answer all the question, even technical question. I'm kind of like confident with my technical skill, but yeah, to be honest, I cannot answer all of them. Yeah, when I get like some weird question and some really like hard questions that I have no idea about. First of all, yeah, just be cool. Like I'm not saying be cool like anything. Just what can I say? So yeah, just talk with them like friend kind of. So for that question, I take more time, right? So I buy more time for thinking, and then take the time for me to like to tell them a lot of other background, a lot of other like skill insight that I have. So like instead of like answering directly the question, I tell them about the OMERS model and TCB/IB model that I have insight about, and that's why I'm struggling with the question. Just explain what you know about the question, what you know about the answer. You don't really need to give them the direct answer right away. And secondly, like preparing, preparation is the key. You have to prepare a lot for technical and behavior. If you like have this, you cannot just lie, right? So you have to need the insight, the real insight to do in the job interview. So have to prepare for just to make sure you are in the best you are in the best condition of yourself in your interview. So that is, and you because you already know it, just talk it out.
Be yourself, right?
Yeah, be yourself.
I think that was one of the messages that I kind of get from what you explained, and it's funny that you talked about your most memorable question is the most technical question that we tried to explain to the young grad. That yes, I don't think half of the audience understand what is the ICMP package is, but because you're so technical, so you remember those questions, and I think that was also present who you are and what you know and the knowledge that you cover as well. And thank you for that. It's great. At least you came up and with the answer, with the knowledge and the education background that you have, and be able to tackle the questions the way that the question was asked. And how about Linh Chi? Being a manager, you must have a lot of memory questions.
So actually, I want to share about interview for data analytics. Let's say job, because I'm not into IT, but I think it's kind of related. So yes, for data analytics, we also need to prepare for technical questions. It can be even a technical project or task that they're going to send you, and then you have a couple of days to complete it and then send it back, or either just some here and there question that the hiring manager can just throw to you at the interview. So of course you need to have your strong technical skill and be prepared for whatever they ask, because sometimes it can be something really technical, like they can ask about some procedure in retrieving data, or some technical definition, like ETL for loading data, or some statistic and modeling question if it's more like data science job. But also I think we cannot ignore the importance of behavioral and HR question. I always call it HR question because it's very standardized and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just a question to express yourself and to show the interviewer that how your way of solving problem and presenting sometimes a problem, how it can be done, and if you are in that situation, what you're going to do. So it can show a little bit about your personality as well. So because sometimes I know that young graduates, people always focus too much on technical question, and they don't prepare themselves for HR or behavioral question. And for me, either in interviewee position or interviewer position, there's always going to be a mixture of both technical and behavioral question in a standard interview. That's what I say. So you cannot just focus on the technical side and then forgot practice yourself on the standardized HR question, because you can show that you are really good in technical, but then a very simple HR question can fail you easily if you don't prepare for that. So my tip for interview is maybe Google or search for the top 50 most favorite of the year HR question, because that change every year. You know, like recently we have a lot of working from home, life balance, mental health, COVID situation question that is plugged into HR. So normally what I suggest a search for the top 20, 50, whatever you have time to prepare yourself of, okay, what kind of question that they nowadays ask in an interview, and maybe practice in front of a mirror, give yourself 5 minutes and then record it, and then you listen again to see whether your question is make any sense, because maybe your brain thinks faster than your mouth, or the other way around, then what you think is not really what you speak out. So that is something that I think for especially for freshly graduate, for the first couple of interview, it will be hard. Sometimes you go into the interview and you are shocked because they ask something that you never prepare for. So that is how you learn from experience. And for myself, some of the most memorable question is when I interview for my first round with a Loblaw. It is an HR round. So of course, an HR question is like, which product you like most on Loblaw brand? And before I came to the interview, I do some research about Loblaw, and when I do research, I realize, okay, TNT belongs to Loblaw. I have no idea about that. And I went to TNT a lot because it's an Asian food supermarket. So I just picked a TNT product, and that saved my life, because if you choose a product that is not Loblaw brand, then it just shows that you don't do any research before your interview. So that thing is memorable to me. And I think I'm not scared of technical question. I'm scared more about HR and behavioral question, because sometimes it can be a shock.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. It look like for technical questions, you know them or you don't know them, but for behavioral questions, those are something that you can work around and practice, right? Yes.
Yeah, don't just say I don't know. You have to tell a story, either it's a made-up story or whatever, but you need to give them an answer. Don't just say I don't know.
You cannot tell them that I don't go to Loblaw because it's out of my budget. Go to
or I can say I go to No Frill because it's cheap.
Okay. Flora, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. It's all good. I get what you mean, and I think a lot of the job today has changed, where we don't work at one place for, I don't know, 30 years anymore, or working at one job for 30 years anymore, and changing job is quite regular now, either 5 years, 10 years, or in a decade. And I think what you share about your career path is that working in different departments and get to know the company, I think we relate ourselves with the company. And to me, it's make the job so much easier because you actually understand the company or where you work. You understand where your paycheck coming from. You understand why you're here doing these things every day. Because if you don't find that motivation and reason, you just sit there 8 hours doing the same thing over and over again. And imagine doing that for 30 years. I can't do that to myself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our generation is having the same mindset that we like flexibility, we embrace changes. Yeah, it's scary, but we like change it. We like climbing the corporate ladder because it's something that rewarding and something that we'll be proud of. But yes, if I work for Loblaw, what is the brand? And getting the question that you have, I have absolutely no idea because I don't really go to Loblaw because, like Whitney said, they're so expensive. How about you, Andy? What is your most memorable questions that you encounter during your interview?
Yes, and it might sound really weird, but my most memorable question that they asked me is that as an IT professional, where we prepare for like crazy question, right? Was how do you manage your file? That's it. So it caught me off guard because I was ready for crazy answer that's out of the world that no one understand. But okay, now how do I manage my file? I put them into folder, name them in a way. I don't know. It's so simple. I don't even know how to explain it. So that's really memorable for me. So I guess in my experience as two side of the interview sessions, I would say there are 3 types of questions that you should look for. One is, as Lindsay already said, HR question, in which they're trying to see if you match their energy or not. If the team is outgoing, they do presentation a lot, which is the nature of my job, currently job right now, and they would look for your speaking skill. But usually, I would say people should prepare for the one question that I would say 90% people would ask. 90% of managers would ask is, tell me about yourself. Now you can say that, hey, I love swimming, I love going out, I love drink beer, stuff like that. But would that be relevant for the job? Would they want to know that, or would they want to know your experience at that relevant to that job position? So all of that answers already in the job description. So I would say read that job description carefully, align your experience with that job description. For example, you might know Python or you might know C#, but that nature of the job only asks you to do C#. So there's no point for you to say that, hey, I know C++ too. I know it's a plus, but there are scenarios where they don't care the other one. They just want one application, for example. So that is where you should prepare for yourself, because they only listen to, in my opinion, you only have 2 minutes to capture people's attention. After that, it's just going down and down and down from there. So that's the first one. I guess the second ones are those easy questions that caught you off guard. So prepare for that, prepare for soft skill questions. So how do you communicate with each other, stuff like that? How do you do your presentation, stuff like that too? That is so easy, but you just don't think about it and you can't really explain it because it's just too easy, everyday works. And last but not least, technical question. Oh, if you want to go into this industry, you cannot get away from it. Usually I would say it's like final exam all over again without, the review part where the teacher gives you like chapter 1 and 5. No, this is not like that. You have to prepare for everything. My only suggestion is that don't be afraid to say, I don't know. You rather say you don't know than trying to guess it and make a fool of yourself, because they know the answer, right? You can try to explain it with logic, but in the case where you absolutely don't know what is that concept, just say, I don't know. Can you educate me, let me know about that theory? I would love to know more. So that would make a very good impression on hiring manager, because no one know everything, even the managers in front of you. So that's my suggestion. That's it.
Awesome, thank you. So you're telling me if I look at your desktop right now, there's no files all over the place?
Oh, there's files all over the place.
So that's how you organize your files. Just kidding.
Organize your files.
I'm asking this because I used to work at help desk, and when I open people's computer, that's the number one key that driving me insane. It's like, how could you look at the desktop with so many files, and how could you find what you need in the next, I don't know, a month or so if you need something. But I guess back to what you were saying is that that can translate into the behavioral questions where they interpreted what you're saying and turn up, oh, I organize, I don't know, my personal folders into this, and then my work this and that. So I think the way we're presenting the information will present how the way we work and the way we present at work. I don't know, I'm guessing, but you're right. If we don't know, we say we don't know, but I would add that I don't know, but I know the way to find the answer. And if you give me, I don't know, an hour or two, I will come up with the solution. And if my solution works, you can invest in me.
Absolutely.
I know. And I think it's a key to a lot of the thing that we discuss is that yes, we don't know a lot of things, but know yourself enough to be able to understand the questions and be able to use the certain information that you have, a certain personal trait that you have, to be honest in the interview and tell them honestly that, yeah, I don't know, but I can find the answer. Yes, I came across that when I was in school 10 years ago, but if I redo or reread the material, I'm a quick learner, I can do that as well. So I think in the way that you still turn that question about yourself, even when you don't know, but you still have the ability to do that. And a lot of IT folks that we talk about, we have a tendency to be a lifelong learner, and we always continue learning because of the demand of the industry. But thank you for sharing, and I agree. 2 minutes is what you need to make your YouTube video. It's not 2 hours about your cat. And Ayush, back to you.
Yes, not about your cat.
I think there's some great insights that everybody shared. Thank you, Anne, Lynn, and Liam. It's such an amazing process and an ongoing process, like preparing for interviews in this industry, right? And I do want to stress the importance of keeping up with the interview process, even if you're getting into your comfort zone, especially when you're getting into your comfort zone in 2 to 3 years time of being in the same job, right? Like Flora said, the industry has turned into something where no longer people would work for an organization for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Nothing wrong with that. That actually shows a lot of commitment. But if you're looking to grow, keep up with your interview skills and keep up with that momentum of going for interviews, even if you're satisfied with your jobs, right? You learn something new every day. In combination of everything that everyone said here just now about the interviews, I do want to mention an approach that always helps me in interviewing and preparing for the interviews and answering questions. It's called the STAR methodology, and I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard of it. It speaks to STAR as in S for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for results. So whenever a question gets thrown at you, the interviewer at times do appreciate if you understand the situation first, lay down the tasks that you're meant to do to problem solve the question or the scenario that they put in front of you. In those tasks, what are your action items? What are the action items for other teams, maybe, right? And what is the outcome? What's the result, right? So that situation, task, action, result driven interview preparation and answering the questions and preparing for the interviews really help. Like Anne was saying, right? Align your job description to what questions they might be asking you, right? Align it with different situations and scenarios they might be asking questions for, lay out the tasks for it, and lay out the actions and the results for it, right? Other than that, to be honest with you, what I've noticed and what I've also liked while I've been interviewing for a few years now, is that not scripted answers. Interviewers don't look for scripted answers. They want to have a conversation with you. They want to work with you for the next couple of years, right? So be yourself, right? Be yourself. Don't give them too much of a scripted answer. Of course, there's a line on how much you can say, right? I think some of you guys mentioned about having a beer or, talking about the cat. Yeah, of course, it has to be relevant to your job profile. It has to be, you can talk about the swimming like Anne said, right? right? But they're at the end of the day, bring them back home, bring them back to the job. How that, whatever you do in life kind of helps you and will help you excel in the role. So be yourself, be natural, right? And yeah, not scripted answers. One of the funniest questions that I got ever, and I think it was their way of opening up with me, or maybe trying to make me feel comfortable. But I was working in an automobile industry, which dealt with not just automobiles and fixing cars and doing roadside assistance, but also insurance, car insurance. And the interviewer asked me, well, can you get me a discount on my insurance or car insurance, right? So that was one of the funniest questions, not related to job, not related to anything. But as an icebreaker, they asked me, can you get me some discount on my car insurance, right? You have to answer on the spot, right? And that's what they're looking for as well. They're looking for some impromptu, situations, and how do you handle them, right? How are you able to respond back and not just freeze in the moment? And if a question like that comes across where you know nothing about it, right, you can laugh it off. There is something, it shows you're relaxing. You can laugh it off and answer back, right, in whatever way you feel appropriate, right? Yeah, my answer to them was, yeah, sure, definitely pass me on the number. And I kind of joked back, I don't know if I can get him a discount, but the guy knows that I'm talking back at him and he can stop now, right? And then we resume the interview. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Yush. Yeah, it's strange. So it's strange that the insurance question comes up in an IT interview, job-related interview. I don't know. But I think I can relate to what you were saying about a job interview. And I think with Linty and yourself being in the management position, and even Anne now, she's also in a security tech where she has to lead the team. So you guys all lead the team. You all have the experience to interact with either co-op, young grad, new grad, and Liam is being a grad. And he also said the same thing, that be yourself and that. And I think what you were saying about the insurance question is that the icebreaker sort of questions, or it's between the manager and the interviewer. And it took me 10 years not to be, I'm still nervous when I go to interview, but it took me 10 years to realize that whoever interviewing me is just another person across the hall, or even in Zoom call. They still have family, they still have other things to do. They're just a person like I am. So why can't we just have a conversation and answer the questions? Because I think feeling relaxed and feeling not too uptight in the question, in the interview, will help us to take all the questions, analyze it, process it, and answer it in a proper way. Because sometimes we're too nervous and we're like, oh, what are they asking? What is the answer? Was it the right answer? And we so uptight and we forget that it's just let's put it a conversational. I ask you a question, you answer the way that you think it's suitable, or whatever the information you can provide me. And often icebreaker jokes, or even make the situation less awkward, because two persons don't even know each other. The only connection is just to make sure that everybody else is comfortable in the call. And during interview, I'm seeing the same thing. And I said, it took me 10 years to learn that they're just a person like me, get to know them as a person, and then we'll do the interview and answer as our best. But thank you for your sharing your personal questions. And that was my part. Back to you, Whitney. You have anything else to add as well from what we were discussing?
Yes, so thanks everyone for sharing your perspective. And so we have a very diverse set of answers. For Liam, the most memorable question was a technical question, a tricky one. And then Anli, you cannot imagine how simple it could be. Like, how do you manage your files and you don't even really know how to answer that? Like, to convince them, I have the best way to manage my files, right? And then thank you, Linji, for the story. Like, studying, researching about the company is very important. And thank you, Ayush, for telling us that the interview process is all about having a conversation with the interviewer, and they can ask a very random question, like just to, break the ice. Yes. So I would like to share my most memorable question as well, because it's a very tricky and very funny one. So I work in human resources and I specialize in total rewards. So that work requires a lot of numbers, skills, and I have to use Excel in my work. So the most memorable question for me was, how would you rate your Excel skill? Like from rate 1 to rate 10, how would you rate yourself? And I found that it was a very tricky question. I didn't know how to answer that. Should I tell them that 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 2 out of 10 or something like, right? And then I decided to tell them that I would rate myself 10 out of 10. And he even asked me back. He said that, so you know everything about Excel, right? And I said that, no, I don't really know everything about Excel. Even Bill Gates, he doesn't know everything about Excel. But I can tell you that I know enough to do my work. But the first moment that I got that question, I didn't really know how to figure out a number. But I know that I need to explain to the interviewer. And even I chose 8 or 9 or 10, maybe I could be a little bit more humble to tell them that 8, and then I am aware that I need to enhance my skill, etc. But I decided to tell him that I rate myself 10 out of 10. But it's good that he asked me back, like, so you know everything about Excel. And I had an opportunity to explain to him that nobody really knows everything about Excel. So I just know enough to do my job. And compared to maybe finance people, they know about Excel much more than I do. So that's just a very tricky question. Just would like to share with you guys, especially young students, just an experience for you when you have to deal with those questions. So I would like to move on to the next question. So I saw that Stephen Ngor asked a very specific question about certain certificate course that I don't really know. So just one, so there is a very technical question. So I would like to take this opportunity to ask you guys, in your field, do you recommend any additional courses or additional certificate that people should get to apply for the job? So maybe we can start with, I use this time from a very high level manager. You may know a lot of different certificates or designation in the field. Do you have any recommendation for us?
Yeah, sure. I think I saw the question. It's very specific to the CCIE Security Lab this year, right? I'm just reading through it now. Yeah. And I've always believed that at the end of the day, your work experience, overweighs everything else. What you've been doing in your career path, whether it's freelancing or it's working as an FTE or consulting, right? That's the most important part, right? But to get your foot in the door, it is very important to have some certifications under your belt to showcase that you are motivated. You are trying your best to kind of learn new things. It shows that you're motivated to learn new things, not just in your comfort zone. And if you're a new graduate, knowledge will never hurt. Knowledge will never ever hurt. Any kind of educational background that you have, if you want to study more, you take bits and pieces from here and there, and you'll be surprised how it can help you have conversations with people, and you never know where you'll leave like a long-lasting impression, right? From a conversation that you remember at a CCIE course with somebody which had nothing to do with CCIE, right? So yeah, absolutely, do certifications if you can, right? No time. There's no late time to study, right? Like it's just never too late. If you haven't done it yet, please go ahead, and I strongly recommend. But after maybe 10 years, 15 years in the industry, that's when it starts to turn, and that's where your job experience starts to make more of a difference. Although, I do want to mention, because of the industry that we're in, which is IT, it's such a fast-paced, ever-growing industry, right? Look at where we are 10 years ago. There were very little conversations about artificial intelligence courses, and now it's like I don't even want to call it a hype. It's an actual thing, right? I myself have started to kind of invest time in knowing more about AI, right? Being in the cloud environment now and supporting the cloud environment, right? Because at the end of the day, things have started to move towards automation, and it'll become more and more of a thing. So this industry is an ever-going industry. Never stop doing certification, never stop learning, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you, Ayush. Yeah. Anyone want to add something before I move on to the next panelist? I just hear somebody saying something.
I just want to add to yours. We were saying that CIE is a very job focused. So if you are already working in the field and work with a company that actually need the certification, then I would suggest to go ahead. I personally wouldn't go for CIE because the nature of the job that I'm doing, I can unless you want to be very focused in networking and specifically network security, and I would go ahead for that. But a lot of the area where we work, like Ayush said, the IT industry changed so fast every single minute. And I think 10, 15 years ago, we don't even know what is data, Google data analytics certification, or I think even Amazon cloud was something very new to the industry. So a lot of things doesn't exist 10, 15 years ago. So whether the certification that you need to make a lateral move for the next step, then you get it. Whatever you are in the field and it's required for your job, then you get it. And I'm pretty sure we have the ability to do research and find the right suitable certification for what we are trying to achieve. And that's just what I think is what I wanted to add. And back to you, Whitney.
Yeah, thank you, Flora and Ayush. So basically, this question is to understand more about the certification required for each minor IT areas. So I know that each of you works in different IT fields. So just wanted to understand a little bit better, like for example, for Liam, like in your field, what kinds of certification are needed, for example, and versus Anli, maybe you took another path, and in that field, like they require different sets of qualification. So how about Liam? Can you please share with us? So I know that you are new ready, so you do a lot of research. Which certification do you think are needed for your path?
Oh yeah, for cybersecurity, actually, even when I just graduated, I hold like 2 of the most well-known certificates in certificate in cybersecurity. So basically, I have my many certification already. But personally, I'm not recommending people to take any certificate just for the job. Yeah, if I is like if I interested, or you find you will do it in the future in your job. For example, I took the certificate in digital forensic, and I really do it in my job. If not, it just like fade away. If you take a certificate just for the job and not having it as a skill, it just fade away and it's nonsense. So for the entry level, maybe it will show the dedication for the job. But highly recommend if you like just take a certificate when you want to learn more about this field, want to learn more about specific specific inside of the certificate, and or you need that skill in the job in the future, and you have to do it and make it that skill. You cannot make it your job skill if just learning a certificate. You have to do it in your job, or like practices. If you just take it, it's nonsense. So for my career of for cybersecurity, I recommend some courses from SANS. SANS. I'll type it in. It's like a well-known institution in cybersecurity, and you can take a look at the course map. They have a map of what course or what part you can go in cybersecurity. There are many parts in your career part in security. You can go for like penetration testing, like attacker, defender, or even manager. Yeah, and they have course for each of them. So yeah, just take a look so you can like have a overall idea about what you can go deeper in cyber security. Yeah, I'm not like telling you that you have to take the SANS course, but it's a good resource that you can take a look at. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Liam. So how about Anli? Can you please share with us about your path?
Yeah, so for my path as an enterprise, I think my manager recommend me to take the TOGAF, which is the open architecture framework. In my opinion, I would say that again, more information is never hurt. It's your knowledge, and as a nature of IT, you constantly learning with or without certification. That's for sure. But if you want to look at your career in the strategic way, either if you haven't got any job yet and you're looking to get a job, I would recommend you to take the certificate. And the reason for any certificate that is related to the position that you hopefully want to get, and the reason for that is for the nature of interview. If I would interview two candidates, um, equal qualify, and someone have a certificate, it's kind of like a guarantee that this person know what they're talking about. Rather, because technical questions, sometimes you can answer those, you can memorize it and answer them, but doesn't mean that you're really good at your job. So manager will look in there, and of course it's just my opinion. I'll look in there and see, hey, this person have that certification, which means that this person probably already spent like 20 hour 40-hour study on this field. So it eased my mind to hire that person rather than someone that does not have the certification. So it's always the plus for your negotiation when you get into a job, and it's always the best when you negotiate to increase your salary. So when you have that job already good, take more certification if you can, of course, that you love, and that would be always great to negotiate for job. Hey, you would say, hey, in this year I have this, which mean that my skill has tremendously increased. So I would, hoping for more. So in terms of career, when you plan your career path and how to climb that ladder, certification is good. But also, it's the nature of the job to learn every day certification or not. So that my two piece on it.
Thanks a lot, Anli. So Lindsay, do you have any advice for us?
So I totally hear out and agree with everyone opinion on certificates. So just to summarize, I think, yes, if you have certificate, if you have time for it, go for it, especially for young grad, because you just graduate, you are looking for a job, yet you have some time, just learn to get some certificate. Secondly, choose certificate that you want to learn wisely, because IT career, data career, there's so many courses out there, and you don't need to get all of them. Basically, for example, I was just speaking for my job, specifically for data analysts, you can see the job description. They're going to require some syntax language that you need to learn, and then some BI tools and program that you need to be familiar with. You don't need all of them. That's what I'm emphasizing. Rather than learning like all Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, etc., just learn to you one or two, and be really deep dive into it. And for coding is the same. You don't need to learn all of the syntax language. Python, that's good. SQL, that's good. And then just maybe instead of learning all of the tools and the language, be really good at a few of them, then the one that you're interested. Some people really like Python, but some people who say that no, I just know some other syntax that equivalent, and that's fine. But as long as you really understand it and you're really into it, that's important, because certificate out here right now, I feel it a little bit overwhelmed for young graduate. I have a lot of people, that students that just graduate, and they ask me, okay, which program or which course I should take. It's too much out there. So just choose the one that you like, and you be better at it, practice more, because if you learn it to finish the course and get the certificate, as I think Liam said, is good, but you need to keep practicing it to be stand out, especially when you go into interview, you have technical questions, sometimes it's tricky. Then if you really understand what you are doing, that will help you, rather than you just learn it to get the certificate itself. So I think that is the advice is for fresh graduate, then you should get, because it will help you to get a hand-on experience on what one of the skill that the job require. And also, like Anne said, it is a guarantee for manager or for whoever hiring to know that, okay, you are qualified for this skill. But then also, I know there's a lot out there, just choose it wisely and practicing more, because I know if you learn one certificate and then you jump on the next one, as Liam said, it will fade away. You forget it. Maybe play around with some like if data, we can play around with some public data, and then create some project. You play with it, you understand how it works, and then you publish it in some shareable platform like GitHub, and then you can share it with the hiring manager, or you can put it in your resume. I think that's much better than you just keep chasing on more and more certificate out there. Yep, back to you, Winnie.
Yeah, so I do have a question, because I work in human resources and I don't know much about IT. But so for example, let's say when I look at a LinkedIn profile and I found that this person has a series of certificates related to the role that I am hiring. So how do you feel like from an HR's perspective, like two profiles, right? And one profile has the certificate that I want, and one profile doesn't really have. So how do you think that would have if you don't have a certificate? For example, for me as an HR person, if I look at, if I try to hire people, I would prioritize people with, I mean, whatever certification that they have next to their name, right? And so technically it's more about like you choose the right certification related to the job that you are applying. But I just have a feeling that for, I mean, two profiles, I would prioritize a profile that has, I mean, whatever letter CCIE next to their name.
I think I'm just talking. I think I balancing between work experience and certificate. I still think work experience is more important.
Mm-hmm.
If the two person that you say are the same work experience, let's say, of course it's really hard to like have exactly the same, but let's say the work experience is the same, then of course the person who gets certificate will be a little bit preferable. But of course it has to go to interview and other stuff. But in just looking at the resume, I still prefer work experience. Then we can talk about certificate.
Yeah, I think I
from my
agree with
perspective.
Lynn. Yeah, no, I think I absolutely agree with that as well. At the end of the day, work experience definitely outweighs whatever certs you have. And after a certain point, yeah, sometimes, you know, there are jobs out there, job postings out there that have a mandatory certification that they ask for, right, to narrow it down. And there, I do understand the dilemma of the new graduates, where like they're saying, or even professional folks who have the experience and they don't have the certificate. How do you apply for the job? Don't you know, take a step back and apply for the job. Apply for it differently. You can always mention that you're pursuing the certificate, right? And your experience will talk for yourself at the end of the day. Who are experienced professionals, especially whether the experience was global. It doesn't have to be Canadian, right? It will speak for itself, right? I think one little other bit that I wanted to add to that is, right, we talked a lot about certificates and having these certs under your belt. When an interviewers hiring, they're definitely also looking at the humility, that personal trait of the person, right, and the attitude towards learning, right, which is so important in the IT industry. I think we've all stressed that enough, so yeah, don't be too hell-bent in doing a lot of certifications, like a few of us already mentioned here as well, right. The one thing that you do, though, do it so well that you're your own competition, nobody else. Right, do what you can do best and give your 100%, and then you'll be good to go. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayush, and thank you, Lynn. And I think I personally was, when I was in the mid-career of my 10 years, I have the same dilemma. I said, do I need to do AWS? Do I need to do Azure? Do I need to do security? I do need to do networking. And I find myself diving in after one article to the other. Some say this one is the best, this one is the best. And I was lost. And like Liam said, you get one certificate, it's good for 3 years. And then you spend another 3 years to get another certificate, where you have accumulated a certificate where you have to keep up, first of all, myself, and then you have to keep up with that. And whether new technology, there were new certifications. So I think that was a challenge with me when I tried to keep up with certification. So I tell myself there's 3 things that I'm going to get. I will do must have in a job description, I would do nice to have, and I would do what I want to have. So I must have what the job description asks me to. It's nice to have, it's going to bump up my salary or make me stand out if they're another candidate. And want to have is something that I desire to have. Maybe I will do Azure because I like it. And maybe I'll do better because I like to do it, not because somebody want me to do it, or it's nice to somebody think that I should have it. And I think that is one of the keys for myself, where I choose certification. That's why I ended up with only one. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm lucky enough that after 3 failed attempts of the exam, I finally got it, and I only had to do it once. And it was stick for me for the rest of my career. But after I got the certification, it helped me a lot with my job application, and that's how I looked at it in a certification perspective. Because, giving my personal point of view, I also have the opportunity to work in IT field and understand where the hiring manager coming from, and where as an applicant and candidate apply for jobs coming from as well. And great advice. Thank you so much. So I noticed that there are a couple of questions from the audience in the chat. I will leave that for the last question for the panelists, and then we go into the networking and then open for the folks on the call. So Whitney, before I move on to the last one, would you like to have anything to add?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, awesome. So I will take this as a personal kind of questions to you guys, that given the fact that where you are today, what is your advice for somebody who wants to get in IT, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's data analytics, whether it's with the platform infrastructure layers, and soon he'll go into cloud as well. And Anne, she's the application architect, where she handling and then I think her job is so cool that she had the ability to work with the business, understand business requirement, turn into the solution, and provide that solution that make money to the business. And it's so cool. Anyway, let's start with Anne, since I put you on the spot.
My advice for to try out this industry is to take a course, either from Udemy, or go for a boot camp, for example, for 1 week. It's just to try it out, see if you like it or not. And you have to try it. Don't be afraid about math, because that's what I hear a lot about people. Hey, I'm not good at math, which means I'm not good at IT in general, let's say. And it's not about that. This industry is about logic thinking, critical logic thinking, and be able to translate a business need into technical requirement, which require 90% logic. Unless you want to go to Google, then you have to be like a math genius. But don't be afraid. If you think you're not good at math, you would be surprised how good you are in logical thinking. So that was what's happening to me when I start to move from the finance industry to the IT industry. That I was really afraid that, hey, I was never good at math. I don't think I can do this. But it's not about that. So in conclusion, give it a try. You don't need to jump headfirst into the industry. Don't do that. And don't be afraid that you're not good at math. So yeah, back to you, Flora.
Thank you. Awesome. I think, yeah, in grade 1 elementary school, they never teach us how to do calculations in binary. I think we learned that in college or university, right? So,
that's easier than finance statistic, no?
oh, yeah, so this is called, I took that. Yes, I loved it. But yes, I agree with you. I try to be good at math because, you know, my parent is that you're Asian, you need to be good at math. No, I don't have to be good at math, but I took statistics course. I really like it, but I was like a C+ student. I was struggle so much with statistics, but I love the course because it teaches you logical thinking, like you said, and think about the outcome of what are you doing with the data. But yes, I know, try something and see if you like it. Like I said at the beginning, you do it because you like it, because you want to do it. It's not because somebody told you to. And I think we'll do better in that instant. And thank you, Anne. How about Lindsay?
Okay, so for me, I think to get into this career, especially for data analytics, I agree with Anne. Math is not something you always assume that you need to be good, but logical thinking is important because when you have a logical thinking, then you can do data extraction, you can play around with the numbers, and then you can tell the story from that. And for me, I like this part of the job because this is a good mixture between science and arts. You need to be logical and good at some coding for sure, but also you need business intelligence to tell and to display whatever the number that you get from. So not only focusing on coding, but also you need to have like a good like tell the story skill. For example, like if you have a dashboard to present, whatever the number you get from what you're going to show, because that will be the final result that you will show to people. They don't care about like the back end. They only see the front end as the final product, and the way you display it, which one you show, which one you highlight, which one you're going to put in a chart on in a graph, which one is going to be in a model, that will be something that you need a little bit of creativity and arts in there. So for me, what I think is you need to be expand in all kind of in all levels of logical thinking, not only like in terms of coding, but also understanding the business and also how to display the number. And for me, of course, when you get into the data or like IT career, is changing all the time. 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I think BI is not a popular term, but now everybody, every company, everyone talking about BI, but I'm not sure about the next 5 or 10 years, AI or whatever I will be the next one. So what I say is you don't fix yourself with one thing. You can always see that you change over time as well. And as long as you passion to explore and learn, then I think that is the most important for any kind of IT related career. Yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay. I think 30 years from now, when I retire, the only thing left is I'm here. And whatever the industry put in.
Nothing in front. Yeah, nothing in front of the eye.
But no, I agree with you that I think when we work in IT, we only think about technical terms, think about how to go into implement that, deploy this, fix that. But I think at a higher level, we need to understand why the business need the solution. Why do I need to present the data? For what purpose? Why do my manager know that I work 8 hours and there's a KPI? And I remember you shared with us, with Lindsay, in one of the presentation in mentorship that one of the mentee group that presenting the information, and you was asking the right question. You said, when you do this, what am I looking at? I don't understand the information you're presenting. And I think that is the key that I share about knowing the company, knowing what you're doing, not just either you a service desk, either you doing data analyst, do you IT support, do you do coding, whatever you do is what is the purpose? Why is what you do is what you do, and what is that going to be beneficial for the business? And I think this is, we call it business jargon, but at the end of the day, the job and the career path has changed so much. It's no longer that I work 9 to 5, I come in, I do this, and I go home. I think there's a little bit to that, to me, at a certain degree, that I need to know, what am I doing today, not only for my paycheck? Does it mean something to the company? Does it benefit it? Does it bring business that the people are going to pay me, or the business will bankrupt tomorrow? You know what I mean? But I have said all of that. Logical thinking is the key component I heard from the two panelists, and understand the business and understand why you want to get into IT. Is it because this paycheck more than being a doctor? I don't know, but like Ayush said, the money will come after. And so, speaking of Ayush, what is the advice that you will leave for the folks today?
I think the great ideas, everybody, right? I think we're already on the right track in thinking. I think Flora, you gave such a beautiful example about the knowing your why, right? Which is a really important part of knowing why you're doing things, right? I'll give you a quick example of an industry, and it's not an IT industry, of an automobile industry. Again, I'm not going back to my roots, but just like to share this example from time to time. When you talk about cars, right, some of the greatest companies that come to mind are German cars and Japanese cars, and and then the American cars, right, in that sequence, right. And when we were talking about German, we're talking about Mercedes, we're talking about the Bavarian Motor Works, BMW, Audi, right, and then in Japanese we're talking about Honda and Corolla and Lexus and so on and so forth, right. And it's already, I think, making a picture in your mind what you see out there. People driving the Benzes and the BMWs are because they drive them because they have that credibility. These companies have that credibility, right? And if you ask these organizations, and this was in one of the studies, that when you ask these companies why they do what they do, is because, well, they've been doing it for a long time, they're good at it, and they make a lot of money, and they make their customers happy, right? That was kind of the gist of what the answers were for all these amazing organizations, all right? I think less than a decade ago, Tesla came into being, which is a totally different concept. Electric cars. Everyone was just stumped by how well they've been doing, given the short time they've been in the industry, right? And when they had asked the why from the Tesla owner Elon Musk, the reason for that was, I'm trying to save the nature, I'm trying to save the energy, I'm trying to save the environment, right? The logic, the why was so different, right? And it wasn't because he wanted to make electric cars. He just wanted to, like, and to your point, solution something, looking at the requirements of the human race, of the world, and that could help and extend the lifestyle, right? So the why becomes so important, not what you end up doing at the end, but why you're doing it, right? It's such a thank you, Florida, for bringing it up, and that kind of reminded me of this example that I wanted to share, right? So your why becomes so important in such a short time. Tesla has come up with SpaceX after, and so many other organizations within that same umbrella that it all comes back to why they do what they want to do, right? SpaceX is another example, but we'll get to it after. Right? Some of the other things that I want to share, keep in mind, networking we all discussed. I think we stressed it enough, right? Humility is very good to have, whether you're trying to get into the leadership aspect of IT industry, or or even if you're an architect, or you're a developer, you're a programmer, cybersecurity, data analytics, everywhere you go, having that humility and the willingness to learn always helps you a long way, right? Problem solving, right? I think one of the questions somebody just asked recently, I was going through it, was, do I need a college diploma or a university degree to kickstart my the career? Really, what you learn in university degree, whether it's mathematics, statistics, English, or the literature courses or the technical courses, you learn a lot of problem solving, right? And if you can incorporate problem solving in your day-to-day life, and even in a diploma as you're doing co-op programs or freelancing, right? Problem solving can be included, just like logical mindset, logical thinking. Right. So yeah, the degree is not the way to kickstart, right? It's definitely a good thing to have down the line, right? But if you're asking because you're already in a career path to a diploma, I started my career with a diploma, right, with a college diploma, and look where I am today. Right. And I'm not saying I'm already up there. There's so much still more to learn, but I think it was never a hurdle for me, at least as long as I was keeping up with the technology, keeping up with the problem solving, the logical mindset, and whatnot, right? Sell yourself. That's another thing, right? Don't be afraid to sell yourself. If you have been doing some freelancing, if you've been doing some personal IT related projects, whether it's you're setting up your own home lab, right? Make that a project. Sell yourself, right? Put it on your LinkedIn profile. Talk about it in your. It shows how articulate you are in being able to explain and put things together in a perspective that helps your career path, right? So yeah, don't be afraid to sell yourself. And at the end of the day, do what makes you happy, right? Whether it's a certification, whether it's IT is such a vast industry, so many streams tracks you can go to. Do what you like, right? I believe Lynn and Anne was mentioning the same thing. One thing that you do though, do it so well that make yourself your own competition, and no one can beat you. I have that confidence, and yeah, good luck, everybody.
Awesome, thank you. So I guess with somebody that like competing, you just enjoy competing with yourself. That what is the next thing I can do to better myself up, like myself yesterday. Yes,
be your own competition. Don't compare yourself with others. That's be the bee, right? Take the honey, not the not the nectar.
But yes, I think we're hearing the same story about the automobile as well, where I think it's Toyota or Honda, the company that use the 5 whys just to solve their business problem. And I think it's a very, very traditional and classic 5 whys. You can apply it for not only your career, your life, whatever you need to do. Why do this? Why do this job? Why I told my kids to go to school for being a doctor? Why does the kid do that? Can the kids ask the same question? Why my parent want me to be a doctor? Do I like it? Does it fit me? Can I work here for being a doctor for 30 years? I think nobody had the answer for you but yourself. And I think it's hard to know ourselves enough to answer those why. I think down along the way, when you try different things, you find your whys. And I think there's a lot of things that, and I saw one of the questions in the chat as well, asking for opinion for the kids. And I think I would give an example for myself. when I graduated high school, my parents wanted me to be, like I said, doctor or lawyer. I couldn't do that. So I said, I'm very good at chemistry. Let's go for learning about digging oil. A 19 years old young grad learning about digging oil when she only know the chemistry in high school. And I gave myself 4 months for that, and I quit. I couldn't do it. I tried accounting. I'm not good at numbers, even though I enjoy logical thinking, but math is not my friend. And I gave up because there's too many numbers. And I said, okay, let's try IT. It was hard. It was hard. And I have to admit, there's a lot of courses that is really hard. But when I started working and I realized that, oh, this is something that I can do. This is something that it actually fit my personality. It fits what I want to do. So I think a lot of hearing your questions and hearing everybody else's questions, I can relate to that. We cannot give you a specific directions on this certification you should do, or this school you should take, or this course you should take. But we can all only give the advice, like, if you're a logical thinker, go for it. If you're a problem solver, go ahead. If you have the intuition to understand connecting the IT and the business dot, go ahead. If you're flexible, you adapt it to change, you'll be able to learn different technology within a day, a week, or a month, go for it, right? So there's a lot of key things that we collected through the panelists, and I agree with all of that. So I hope that we cannot cover all of the questions that you guys have on the chat, but somewhat hearing the story and what we share will help you find the right path for either your kids or yourself, or if you need to change your career. And I will leave a last piece for Liam as a young grad to provide his opinion on the people who want to get into the field and come as a young grad. I think you had a fresher eye than most of the folks in the call as well, right? Go ahead, Liam.
Yeah, thank you for well, yeah, I think you guys said it all. Yeah, everything already have been said. But yeah, for me, I think one of the most important thing in this industry, but I think it's also like work in every other job, that you need to keep learning. Yeah, keep improving yourself. So especially in IT, right, when it change a lot, so you don't want to be outdated. But yeah, you cannot rely on school to like teach you everything in the industry. What in the job is far different from school. So yeah, we have to whenever I apply for a job or I join a job, I have two factors for the job: learning or earning. If I have it both, it will be perfect. When the job I still learn and I earn, yeah, it will be a perfect job for me. But in sometime after like 2 years, 3 years, if I still earn but not learning anymore, I will thinking about like changing job. So yeah, learning or earning, yeah, keep it in mind. Just and I will put like learning in a more weight for calculating for a job. Yeah, you have to keep learning in the industry. Yeah, just when I'm talking about learning, it's not just about school certificate. You can learn from your mentor. You can learn from from the job, from industry, or yeah, whatever. I also really like a quote like that. Your first $1 million, you can earn your first $1 million with your professional skill, your profession. But the next $10 million, you will get by like knowing by knowing the world, how the world is like going on. Yeah, it's for 1 million and 10 million. It's just the number. You can change the number, what you want. But it is the idea is that you have to learn about the world, how the world like run, and also when you dig deeper in what you understand, what you love. For me, example, when I first started in security, I were a malware researcher. I doing like low level coding, embedded coding, and then for now I do application layer with web hacking. So it's quite different because I dig deeper, and also in vertical and horizon field. Yeah, just discover is more, and you find out like much more thing interesting with you in the future maybe. And when you look back, it's just like it's just it's just really fun when you look back like few years what you have done. It's just like a train and it already like your destiny something. That is, yeah, so keep improving yourself, keep learning. That's my
Awesome. So I guess the saying is you earn your first million by educating yourself, and then you earn your next 10 million by knowing the battle after you join the war. Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, for the first million, if you like your professional, yeah, like you can working for it, for what you really good at it. But for the for next 10 million, it's like how you know the world. Like grab it any from your expertise. Like I do like web hacking, right? But if I know about manager or managing skill and also other reverse engineering skill, yeah, it can help me like push me a lot in the career. So for first few years, maybe focus on expertise.
I think we spoke about the art war, right? Because I read a little bit about the art war, and it's a very ancient Chinese book about winning the battle back in the day. I don't know, centuries and centuries ago, how you know yourself, you know your enemy, then you win the battle. But today there's no enemy, there's no battle. I think it's more about knowing what you want, knowing yourself, knowing the market, and know how to sell yourself, like Ayush said, and learn business skill. And I think it's getting harder and harder for young professionals to get into the field because there's so much technology, there's so much people with skill and knowledge, and how you make yourself stand out is by learning the soft skill, I would say, because the IT professional 10 years ago is somebody in the basement playing video games all the time. I don't think we all here look like hoodie or things like that, but the hardest for the IT folks is that we need to learn the business language as well today to be able to adapt with the field, to get the job, to put your foot on the field. And I think it's getting harder and harder, but I believe with the right directions and right plan, and if you have a plan in place and you reach out to the either the people on the call or somebody that you think might be able to guide you through your career path, don't hesitate and reach out. Just had a coffee chat, like Lindsay said, or just, hey, you know, can we discuss about your career path? Maybe I can learn something from you. And often you find that people are very friendly today. And me, by going to Lindsay, going to Anne, and going to Azure, say, hey, I have this amazing idea. You and Liam too. Do you want to join and have the chat with us? And I took the courage to ask them, and that's why they're in the call and sharing their time, their expertise, and their career path with you guys. So that's why I enjoy these sessions so much, because I'm not doing it because of the monetizing money, because we enjoy doing that. I think the panelists enjoy sharing their expertise and experience, because we think that leaving experience for the people on the call, if you think it's beneficial, it's something meaningful to us as well as the professional working in the field. I don't know if Whitney, before we wrap up for this Q&A and open the floor for networking for another 10 minutes, because I know it's almost 2 hours of the call. I couldn't believe how time flies.
No thanks, I'm good for now. So I think we can tackle some questions in the chat box. Do you want to lead it? Because there are more technical questions.
I think some of the chat, the panelists already cover. I think this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to turn on the camera and have the conversation with the panelists. And again, there are 2 managers and job opportunities there. Anyone, don't be shy. And we only have 10 minutes. So the next step of getting a job is to have the courage to say, I need a job. and go out your comfort zone and ask questions if you have one. And again, we on online, so no one would bite you.
Hi, Kang. So I found that you have a question. Do you want to bring it up, or you feel good with on the answers from the panelists? Because I think it is a very broad question, and I do think the panelists cover some. But do you want to bring it up again, or you are happy with all the answers? There is very general question about IT career in general.
Okay, nobody have any other questions, and I think we can conclude the call.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Flora, for inviting.
Awesome. It's
It was
awesome.
an
Thank you.
amazing event.
It was a great event. I enjoyed so much. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope maybe in the future we'll talk to you again.
For sure.
I think the question from Ms. Huai, I think, and I think I am more relevant to this, and I can like answer this kind of question. So I see this question from like her son is pursuing a P-Tech program in secondary school with diploma and university certificate, right? So from my perspective, I have many colleges. I study in college instead of university. So especially in IT, in IT industry, college certificate or university is not a big deal. So it's no problem. But the problem maybe is what you really learn in the industry. Well, what you really learn in the course. So you have to like dig deeper, do research on the course before deciding what course you do. I thought I relevant to this because just like 2 years ago, I do a lot of research on what school I should go for, and and should I go for college or university. I see it's a P-Tech program, right? So one of my methods to discover to do research on the program is Reddit. Yeah, it's kind of how can I say, it's a social media, but like people share about their experience. So I just do a like quick research on P-Tech on Reddit, and I see a lot of reply from people already done it, and if it worked, so you can take a look on it. And I also have many students. I being a TA in University Victoria, so I have many students in IT. So they also like struggling in certificate and also do certificate and with your schooling. So I'm more than happy to help with your case in like in detail. So I'll put on my LinkedIn profile. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. So Hoàng Nguyễn, if you want to reach out to William for a further experience in research in school for your son, you can reach out to him directly. Otherwise, I would respect other panelists' time. And again, thank you so much for joining the call with us. It's a great event, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.